Coming up on the season debut of Hoosier Sports Night, Indiana football got off to an exciting start, kicking off against Ball State in Lucas Oil Stadium. Join us as we break down the play of new quarterback Michael Penix.
And the men's soccer team started their first two matches of the season in quite exciting fashion. All that and more coming up. This is Hoosier Sports Night. Hello and welcome into the season premiere of Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Maxwell Glenn.
And I'm Stephen Walker. Well, Maxwell, we're back in the studio for the first time. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great. We got some great new reporters. We got an exciting year of IU athletics. It's looking like it's going to be a pretty good year.
It really is. We got a big change in the football program. This fall, head football coach Tom Allen announced Michael Penix Jr. as the team's new starting quarterback. And this past weekend, Penix finally got a chance to prove himself in front of the fans at Lucas Oil Stadium.
It felt great. I wasn't worried about it at all. I knew everything was going to be good, so it just felt great to feel that. Now I know just keep playing.
In Michael Penix's first start as the Indiana quarterback, he led the Hoosiers to a 34-24 victory over Ball State here at Lucas Oil Stadium.
It was a great atmosphere. The whole team loved it. We came out here to practice like a week ago. You can see everybody's face. We're all in awe. We loved the experience. We took everything in. We definitely did.
In the historic home of retired quarterbacks Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning, Penix threw for over 300 yards, but sloppy team play limited some of his success.
We've actually caught the ball really well in practice. We've not dropped balls. As a matter of fact, a year ago at this time, I wouldn't have been surprised. We didn't catch the ball. I didn't think very good in fall camp. But I thought we've caught the ball really, really well. So that surprised me. And our tackling surprised me, too.
Indiana's struggles with consistent tackling allowed Ball State to hang around for most of the game. But Penix's offense helped set up kicker Logan Justice for a career-high 4 field goals, tying a school record.
I said, I love you, man. I appreciate you, putting points on the field. What he told me, he said, hey, you getting me down here. I said, yes, sir, we're working together as a team.
Despite what Tom Allen referred to as some first-game jitters, the team feels confident heading into their home opener against Eastern Illinois. This is Drew Fry, IUSTV Sports.
Penix and the Hoosiers will have that game versus Eastern Illinois to sharpen up and work out the kinks before Ohio State comes to town on September 14th.
Well, there was a lot of excitement this weekend during the first two games of the men's soccer season, but all of that excitement comes with a ton of new faces. Our Maya Engel is here to help.
There's a lot of new faces on the 2019 men's soccer roster, 14 of them to be exact. So we're going to get to know some of the new guys in a new segment called Who's Your New Hoosiers?
Obviously the history. And I come from the crew and I love it there. It's my home, and these two soccer clubs share the same kind of traditional values.
I chose Indiana because it's one of the best universities for soccer in the country, and I grew up in the suburb of Chicago, Joliet, Illinois, and it's about 3 hours away from it, so it was a good choice for me.
I chose Indiana because there's a winning culture. We're used to winning, and I want to compete for a national championship.
I chose Indiana because I grew up around here. I grew up in Greenwood, and it's just down the road. And in my area, it's everyone's dream to play at IU, play for Indiana men's soccer, just the dynasty that's here.
I have one of mine now is being a professional soccer player, doing that for a long time.
Obviously to go as far with soccer as possible, but I'm looking forward to seeing how my education career paths turn out and seeing what I can do with that.
My career goal is to go pro one day and definitely get my degree here at IU, and I'll see from there.
I hope to graduate college with a good GPA and enter medical school and hopefully become some sort of doctor after that.
It changes, different vibe every day. But I don't really have a specific one. It's mostly just EDM music.
Oh boy. Next question. I can't do that one.
Pre-game hype song. Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight, the drum solo. That's it.
I like Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill. I think that one gets me going a little bit, so I listen to that one pretty frequently.
You can catch these new faces in South Bend when they face Denver and Seattle before they return home to square off against Notre Dame. Stay tuned for more Hoosier New Hoosiers in the meantime.
The volleyball team took the floor of Wilkinson Hall for the first time ever when they hosted the Indiana Invitational this past weekend. Haley Jordan and Dante Cargadorian were there for all the action.
The Indiana Hoosiers have lost to the Santa Clara Broncos here in Wilkinson Hall during the Indiana Invitational. After a rough battle in the second match, Santa Clara came back and won, and then ultimately won the third set, causing IU to come in second place. This was a big weekend for head coach Steve Aird, given that it's only his second season as Indiana's head coach, and he only had 2 weeks to prepare his team for this tournament.
Early in the season with a new team, you're trying to figure out the puzzles and figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work. So we'll make some adjustments. We got a big weekend coming up with 3 really good teams coming in, and the schedule gets harder and harder as we go.
In the first match of the weekend-long tournament at the brand new Wilkinson Hall, the Hoosiers soundly defeated the Florida International Panthers in 4 sets. In the first set, some early season nerves caused the Hoosiers to make mistakes after holding a lead, which allowed the Panthers to slip away with the set 26-24. Sophomore Brianna Edwards willed her team to a comeback throughout the next 3 sets, in which she tallied 25 kills at the end of the match. In the second match of the day against Marshall, a dominant display was shown by Brianna Edwards, who tallied another 16 kills to finish off Friday's matches with 41 total kills. After winning the first 2 sets, Marshall's excellent defense caused the Hoosiers to lose the third set 25-21. In the fourth set, Bailey Lebo's excellent defense allowed the Hoosiers to gain a comfortable lead, in which they eventually closed out the match by a score of 25-17. Lebo finished the match with 11 digs, and the Hoosiers completed their first day of the tournament comfortably with a record of 2-0.
Kicking off Saturday's games, the Hoosiers defeated University of Tennessee Martin in 3 sets. Later that night, Indiana faced off against the Santa Clara Broncos. After the Broncos won the first set, the Hoosiers came back in the second and were neck and neck until the last few points. However, they couldn't keep up and lost. The Broncos took the third set too, claiming the Indiana Invitational win. Coach Aird said the loss to Santa Clara could be due to miscommunication. There are 9 new players on this team, and a lot of those players are freshmen that got their feet wet and how to play at a D1 university. Haley Jordan and Dante Cargadorian with IUSTV Sports.
The Hoosiers are back in action Friday as they host Oregon State, Yale, and Oklahoma. Make sure you follow our social media for updates all season long.
IU Associate Head Coach Mike Westfall has been fired from the swimming and diving team following a recent arrest. Westfall was arrested last Friday for allegedly intimidating a former IU athlete. Westfall was meeting with a fellow swim coach at Lenny's restaurant to discuss the potential merger of B-Town Aquatics and the Indiana Swim Club, the latter of which Westfall is on the board of directors. A recorded conversation between the 2 men revealed Westfall said that he, quote, had control over the coaching career of the other coach and that he, quote, would squash him. The firing comes just 3 weeks before the start of the swim and dive season. Be sure to follow IUSTV Sports as this story develops.
We will be right back after the break, and we have the latest on field hockey and women's soccer, so don't go anywhere.
The field hockey team, led by new head coach Kayla Bayshore, got their season started this past weekend as they faced the number 12 ranked Louisville Cardinals on Friday and the Drexel Dragons on Sunday. Ethan Duramo and Jevin McCoskey were there to cover the action.
Good afternoon. My name's Ethan Duramo, and alongside me is Jevin McCoskey here at the IU Field Hockey Complex, where your Indiana Hoosiers just defeated the Drexel Dragons 4-3 in double sudden death. Now, Jevin, what were some takeaways from today's game?
Well, importantly, starting with the underclassmen, Mary Kay Kessler, she had 2 out of the 4 goals today, which ended up being very crucial considering we only did score 4. Something else, Sachi Ananias, 0 saves in the first half, and then ended up having 5 in the second half, only winning by 1 goal. Those 5 saves ended up being very crucial.
So what does this win mean for an Indiana team who just came off a loss at Louisville on Friday?
Well, Louisville's a very good team, number 12 in the nation. But what it means for the team, it's a big confidence booster. And, you know, to hear more, let's go to Coach Bashore. For the team.
I mean, just to get the win for them, I think that they are, like I said, they've been working so hard. And so, while we don't want to always, focus on the result and the end of the game, we want to focus on what we're doing in the game to get the best chance at that result. I think for them, it's so important for them to just have that confidence going forward and to understand we can hang with teams and we can beat teams. And so I think that's just a good message for them and good overall effort by everybody on the team today.
For IUSTV Sports, my name's Ethan DeRamo alongside Jevin McCoskey.
The Hoosiers will look to use this momentum as they take their 1-1 record against the 0-2 Miami Redhawks. That matchup will take place this Friday at 3 o'clock right here in Bloomington.
Women's soccer was looking to bounce back from their last loss as they traveled just south Thursday night to take on the Louisville Cardinals. Indiana has its first losing streak of the season. The frustration levels are only rising for the Hoosiers' first-year head coach Erwin van Bennekom, as his style has not resulted in positive results for the fledgling program. The game continued IU's struggles in the state of Kentucky, where IU fell last weekend to Murray State 2-1 on a last-minute goal by the Racers. The team will be back on the pitch Sunday when they play host to Morehead State. Play will start at 1 p.m. You can catch all the action on BTN+.
The Miami opener kicked off the cross-country season, and IU went home with a first and third place finish. On the men's side, Hunter Moore finished in first with a time of 25:46 and proceeded to take home an individual title. Skylar Stidham finished second with a time of 25:54, and freshman Keelan Grant finished fifth with a time of 25:57. On the women's side, freshman Abby Little led the Hoosiers pack, finishing seventh overall with a time of 22 minutes flat. Freshman Michaela Ramirez finished closely behind her with a time of 22:01, and Grace Walther finished 11th with a time of 22:17. The Indiana cross-country team will travel to Nashville for the Commodore Classic on September 14th. Well, that's a wrap on the Season 18 premiere. We're glad you could join us. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at IUSTV Sports. For the entire production crew behind me and for the Stephen Walker, I'm Maxwell Glenn. We'll see you next time.